A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us on BTV Global News at 12. I am Ruth Ogbodu, and now the news in detail. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi reiterated Tehran's willingness to pursue diplomatic solutions even as the country remains engulfed in conflict with the United States and Israel following a major wave of airstrikes. Araghchi described Iran as always open to diplomacy and said Tehran welcomes any effort aimed at stabilizing the country and the wider region. He insisted, however, that diplomatic engagement can only take place if U.S. and Israeli attacks stop first and conditions improve for talks. In a television and media interview, Araghchi said there is currently no formal communication with the United States, but added that if Americans want to talk to us, they know how they can contact me. He said Iran is ready for de-escalation, but made clear that the attacks by the United States and Israel must cease before serious dialogue can resume. Describing the recent military attacks as unprovoked, illegal and illegitimate, Araghchi criticized the strikes and accused U.S. leadership of prioritizing Israeli interests. Despite the violence, Araghchi emphasized that Iran is open to all diplomatic efforts for peace and regional stability, reaffirming Tehran's historical position that it has sought diplomatic engagement even amid tensions. Iran's statement comes against the backdrop of continued military exchanges after the U.S. and Israel launched strikes against Iranian territory, marking a dramatic escalation in regional hostilities and triggering retaliatory attacks by Iran on U.S. bases in the Gulf. International calls for restraint and renewed talks have grown, but concrete diplomatic progress remains uncertain. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has confirmed that the United States has been granted permission to use British military bases for what is described as a specific and limited defensive purpose amid escalating tensions involving Iran. In a video message release, Starmer said the decision was taken to prevent Iran from firing missiles across the region and to strengthen collective security efforts among allies. The United States has requested permission to use British bases for that specific and limited defensive purpose. We have taken the decision to accept this request to prevent Iran firing missiles across the region, the Prime Minister said. According to Downing Street, the move is aimed at supporting defensive operations rather than launching offensive strikes. Government officials stressed that the UK remains committed to de-escalation while ensuring the safety of its forces and allies in the Middle East. The development comes amid heightened regional tensions with concerns that Iran could expand missiles operations beyond its borders. While specific bases were not publicly named, the UK hosts several facilities used jointly with US forces, including RFA stations that have historically supported operations in the Middle East. Defense analysts say the decision reflects the close military cooperation between London and Washington. The United Kingdom and the United States maintain long-standing defense agreements that allow joint use of military infrastructure in times of crisis. There has been no immediate response from Iranian officials regarding the UK's announcement. However, Tehran has previously warned Western nations against involvement in what it considers regional security matters. Opposition figures in the UK have called for transparency on the scope and duration of the arrangement, urging the government to ensure that Parliament is kept informed of any further developments. Starmer reiterated that the UK's priority is regional stability and the protection of British interests. He emphasized that the authorization is limited and defensive in nature, aimed at deterring missile threats rather than escalating conflict. The situation continues to evolve as diplomatic efforts to ease tensions remain ongoing. President Donald Trump said on Sunday that American combat operations against Iran are ongoing in full force and will continue until all military objectives are achieved, warning that more American casualties are likely as the conflict intensifies. In a video message posted on Truth Social, Trump confirmed that 3 U.S. service members have been killed during major military strikes and that additional casualties are expected before the operations conclude. Combat operations continued at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved, Trump said, without specifying detailed strategic goals. Trump described the offensive part of what U.S. officials have dubbed Operation Epic Fury as a broad campaign involving hundreds of targets across Iran. He claimed that the U.S. has its Revolutionary Guard facilities, air defense systems, and naval forces, including sinking multiple Iranian warships. The president also vowed to avenge the deaths of the U.S. service members and underscore America's commitment to the mission, while warning Iranian forces that those who do not surrender could face certain deaths. He expressed condolences to the families of the fallen and urged prayers for wounded personnel. CENTCOM confirmed that beyond the 3 fatalities, 5 more U.S. troops are seriously wounded during the ongoing operations. Iranian forces have responded with missile and drone attacks targeting U.S. positions and allied locations in the region. The conflict escalated after the coordinated U.S. and Israeli strikes killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and other senior figures, prompting strong military retaliation from Tehran. The strikes are broadening into a wider regional confrontation, with involvement from Iranian-backed military groups and clashes spilling into neighboring areas. Global markets have reacted to the instability, with oil prices rising and fears growing over disruptions to strategic shipping routes. World leaders and international organizations are calling for de-escalation, even as military actions continue unabated. The situation remains highly fluid, with potential implications for regional security and international diplomacy as U.S. operations persist. Israel has imposed sweeping emergency measures after Iran launched missiles towards its territory in retaliation for a joint military operation carried out by Israel and the United States against Iranian targets. The report.
Israeli authorities announced an immediate nationwide ban on public gatherings alongside the closure of schools, universities and many workplaces as air raid sirens sounded across several cities. The emergency directives were issued shortly after Iranian missiles were detected heading towards Israeli space, prompting citizens to seek shelter. The Israeli Defense Ministry declared a heightened state of alert, mobilizing reservists and reinforcing air defense systems across major population centers. Residents were instructed to remain close to protected areas and follow civil defense guardians. Police also restricted non-essential movement in several areas to allow emergency services to operate without obstruction. Hospitals across the country activated emergency protocols, transferring patients, particularly those in critical care, to fortified underground wards designed to withstand missile attacks. Medical facilities discharged some stable patients to free up capacity, while emergency rooms prepared for potential casualties. In major metropolitan areas, including Tel Aviv, hospital administrations confirmed that underground treatment centers and reinforced shelters were fully operational. Initial reports indicated that Israeli air defense systems intercepted several incoming projectiles, reducing the extent of damage. However, authorities continue to warn of possible additional waves of missile and drone attacks. Emergency responders were placed on standby nationwide. The Iranian missile launch followed Israeli and US strikes, described by officials as targeting Iranian military infrastructure. Tehran had earlier vowed retaliation, accusing Israel and the United States of aggression and warning of consequences. The escalation marks one of the most serious direct confrontations between Israel and Iran in recent years, raising concerns of broader regional instability. International observers have called for restraint as tensions remain high and both sides signal readiness for further action. Naomi Ewere reporting from
Israel launched a new wave of air and missile strikes on Tehran and other strategic locations in Iran Sunday, following the killing of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei in a joint U.S.-Israeli operation on Saturday. The strikes targeted military facilities, leadership compounds, and missile sites. The reports. And now moving on to business news. The Nigeria Customs Service has reported significant growth in its advance ruling account, which rose from 60 in December 2024 to 173 in December 2025. The initiative contributed 2.9% of revenue from goods valued at 140.8 billion. The figures were disclosed by National Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Mawada, a Deputy Controller of Customs, during the 17th section of the Capacity Building Committee of the World Customs Organization in Brussels. The report.
Iwanda said 83 advance rulings were issued in 2025, representing a 188.3% increase in registered accounts year-on-year. He explained that the service has shifted from routine reporting to evidence-based communication, highlighting measurable reform outcomes under the leadership of Controller General Adewale Adeniyi. The reforms focused on institutional capacity building, human resource development, and stakeholder engagement. Using the time release study as an example, Mewada noticed that transparent data tools, including infographics, revealed that many cargo clearance delays were caused by systemic idle time rather than inspection procedures, underscoring the impact of structured communication on efficiency. Krishnan Raghunath has stepped down as regional executive for West Africa at Africa Data Centers after 5 years, during which he oversaw significant expansion and infrastructure growth. He announced his departure in a LinkedIn post, citing a new professional chapter. Under his leadership, African Data Centers strengthened its footprint in West Africa, becoming an established provider of colocation and cloud connectivity services. Raghunath said his tenure focused on building resilient infrastructure to support the region's digital future, helping the company cement its position in the fast-growing data center market. About 14.66% of Nigeria's 2025 crude oil output was allocated to servicing crude-backed loans, according to NNPC and the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. 4 facilities, Project Gazelle, Project Yield, Project Leopard, and Eagle Export Funding, account for 213,000 barrels per day. The total volume committed over the year equals 77.75 million barrels, valued at around $5.16 billion or 8.36 trillion naira at the official exchange rate. These arrangements form a key part of NNPC's funding framework, earmarking a significant share of output for debt repayment before revenues reach government coffers. Naomi Ewere reporting from Beetv News.
And now to the entertainment news. Popular content creator Pella has warmed hearts online after surprising his girlfriend, Jarvis, with a brand new Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe for her birthday. The romantic gesture quickly gained attention on social media, with fans praising the grand display of affection. The report.
Sharing this special moment on Instagram, Pella explained that the gift was deeply personal. He revealed that Jarvis had often spoken about growing up without her father, and he wanted to show her the love and support she may have missed. His message emphasized the importance of making meaningful gestures that reflect care and emotional understanding in a relationship. The surprise sparked widespread reactions online, with many fans describing the act as next-level love. Others focused on Jarvis' emotional response, noting how genuinely happy she appeared as she received the luxury car. In another development, popular Nigerian gospel musician Taiwo Adegbodu, widely known by his stage name Sati, has reportedly passed away. News of his death began circulating on Facebook, with posts claiming that the gospel minister died in the middle of the night. The reports have left fans and followers in shock, as many struggle to come to terms with the sudden loss. Tributes and condolence messages have continued to pour in across social media platforms, with supporters praying for strength and comfort for his family during this difficult time. Several fellow gospel artists have also taken to social media to express their grief and pay tribute to the late singer. Sati, who was one of a twin, was known for his dedication to gospel music and ministry, making his reported passing a heartbreaking development for many within the Christian music community. Michael B. Jordan scored a surprise win at the Actors Awards, earning Best Actor for his role in Sinners. The film also took the 9th top honor, Best Ensemble Cast. In his acceptance speech, Jordan said he was not expecting the win and felt so honored and privileged to be nominated. Accepting the Ensemble Award, his co-star Delroy Lindo described making Sinners as an incredible journey, saying the cast brought their hearts and souls to the project each day. He added that being recognized by fellow actors was deeply meaningful and that words could not fully express their gratitude. The wins came a week after the British Academy Film Awards, where Jordan and Lindo were praised for their composure when Tourette's campaigner John Davison involuntarily shouted a racial slur while they were on stage. Other actor awards winners included Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, J.C. Buckley for Hamnet, Ami Madigan for Weapons, and a posthumous award for Catherine O'Hara for The Studio. Naomi Ewere reporting from Beetv News.
And now to sports. Lionel Messi scored twice as Inter Miami CF game came from 2-0 down to beat Orlando City FC 4-2 in Major League Soccer's Florida derby on Sunday. Orlando took an early lead through Marco Pasalik's 18th minute, finish from Ivan Aguilar's cross, and Martin Ojeda added a second 6 minutes later following a run from Griffin Dorsey. Miami, beating India season opener last week, rallied before halftime. Rodrigo De Paul came close with a long-range effort saved by Orlando goalkeeper Mazimi Kripu, and Messi was denied a chance inside the area before finally scoring in the 36th minute with a left-footed strike to make it 2-2. Messi then set up Telasco Segovia for the go-ahead goal in the 85th minute and sealed the comeback himself in the 90th with a low, long-range free kick under Kripu, completing Miami's 4-2 victory. And that's the end of our global news. Thank you for joining. Up next is our news updates at 3. Stay tuned. I am Ruth Ogbodu. Bye for now.
Beetv.